and here's Paige and probably some of the other parents for setting this up tonight and for setting up the food and the meals and everything at tournaments throughout this whole year. I say this every year, but I really do mean it. I appreciate it so much to not have to think about that as a coach, where it's all kind of done and organized behind, and I know that the girls are being well taken care of and well fed before every game, and there's all that happening behind the scenes. We couldn't be as successful without all the organizations that parents do. So thank you very much, parents, this year again. Should know too that I have the cross country coaches and the water polo coaches and basketball coach told me the other day too. They're all very jealous because we have these amazing food spreads. And not even I'm not even talking about tournaments. It's just like even pregame out here. They all walk by. They're like, oh, volleyball. It's really, really, really wonderful to not have to worry about. Secondly, food and organization, all that stuff aside, this is my 4th year in a row now of having a really, really wonderful support system and just no problems at all. And I was a little bit nervous this year having 15 on the roster with having, playing time issues and, people being kind of upset. And it's, everybody, all the girls in particular, it's a tribute to you guys too. You really understood from the very beginning what we were trying to do as a team and what it means to be on a varsity team, especially the high caliber team that we're trying to build here. And parents too, you guys have come to the games, you've cheered, you've been positive, support systems. And that really is really important for a coach, that I don't have to deal with side drama that all my peers talk about constantly online. It's like, I talk to coaches often, other coaches, and they're always complaining about this and this, and I just kind of sit there quietly because I've got nothing to complain about. So I'm really lucky and grateful to be where I am right now. And so thank you very much for that. So I want to get this the show kind of on a road. It's a little bit different this year, obviously. I'm not going to give out gifts right now because I don't want to jinx the end of the season. And plus, they haven't come in the mail, so. Sorry. The way it works from here on out, if you haven't talked to me or heard from it yet, this Saturdays are the league playoff CCS meeting, and we have a season summary sheet that we're filling out, and we're going to try to get into playoffs. I think our chances are pretty good to get in. It just sort of depends on what the other teams in Division 5, how they did this year, and who's trying to get in. Should we get in on Saturday, I'll let you guys know right away. Should we get in on Saturday, it would mean that our first game is next Wednesday. So it's a quick turnaround. Should we win Wednesday, it's on Saturday, is our next game. And it should continue Wednesday, Saturday for a couple weeks if we keep going. It's single elimination, and it's very, very exciting. So I hope we do get in. I think you guys deserved it. You guys took care of our end. I talked a couple weeks ago about needing to be over 500 and having games that were really, really crucial, and you guys stepped up and played even better than I could have imagined. So and tonight it was just the cherry on that. It was really, really fun to watch you guys play tonight. Put it together, particularly because we were down. I think that first set it was like 17-21 or something, where statistically should have lost, but you guys showed so much heart and character, and there was so much support and energy from the bench where you guys could have kind of pouted and been like, I'm nice, I'm not going to play tonight, but it wasn't like that at all. It was really a whole team effort in creating that intensity that we've been trying to build all year, and I'm so proud of how we finished the season. It's really, really excellent. So, round of applause to you guys. Thank you. seniors, and I'm going to get through it because it's not our last time I'm seeing you or our last game, so everything's fine. But I'm not going to cry. Okay, so I'm going to go down the line. So, Megan. Oh my God! Okay. I just kind of wanted to go elaborate a little bit more on what I said during senior night. It was cut short, and that your hustle and your hard work are really, really unmatched. Like there's a few times in practice I can recall where you're kind of sluggish, and I asked you about it, and you were like, yeah, I do less than last night. And it's like you just need that click, and then you kick yourself back into high gear. And it's so important to have somebody like that on defense, especially on a really defense-driven team, that will go after the ball, that will make that extra play, that will hustle after the ball. So it's just been really great to have somebody like you on the team. You set the tone from the very beginning. Like I said, I've never been so impressed with somebody coming in. I didn't even expect you to try out for varsity that year, and you just not only came out, you crushed the run test, which is always like the mental block for everybody. And she didn't even complain about it. Like it was just like every year I hear the same thing. Every year it's another test. So hard to run test. And she just showed up and crushed it. So I from that point on, I just knew that it was somebody I could trust to have on this team, and that somebody that I knew was the type of person that I wanted on the team. So thank you, Megan, for everything that you've given to this team. I just hope that we can continue on for your senior year. Thank you. All right, so I think the example I didn't want to give during senior night. Because I was a little bit rushed and I didn't want it to come out the wrong way, but I think it was Gwen's first year, and Gwen is and used to be even more hard on herself than she is now. And it was one of those practices where she was beating herself up over something again, and I could see it on her face, and I emphasize a lot with the girls on this team with body language and how you come across the team and how your body language affects the energy. And I remember, and I don't do this very often, but I called Gwen out in front of the entire team. And normally I'll take somebody aside, and I called her out in front of the team, and I said, hey, Gwen, you can't do that. You can't bow your head down. You're basically wasting everybody's time. You look selfish, I think is what I said. Not that you are selfish, but that you look selfish. And I remember after that conversation, thinking to myself, gosh, I was really, really hard on her. Like, maybe I should have talked to her. Like she already left. And I was like, and the funny thing is, she came into practice the next day, and she didn't really look at me, and she didn't, and I kind of was letting it go just to see like how she was, if she was pissed at me, I didn't really know, and it just was never an issue for the rest of the time Gwen's been here. And every time I called her out afterwards, it was to use her as an example, because she's just the type of player that is aware of what she's contributing. She's always she's a really good counter example now is when Gwen, I think it was, she came into the season after her injury, just blasted it on offense, and then a few games later she had really not a great attacking game. But I couldn't take her out because she was our best passer and our best defender in that same game. And I always tell the girls that, if your hitting's not there, then make sure your passing is. Or if your passing's not there, then make sure your hitting's there. And find a way to contribute. And she's just the picture-perfect portrayal of what I expect from a team player. So thank you, Gwen, for being here. really gotten to see you grow up. I talked about this kind of briefly at the sports awards thing. You kind of like, I can't remember the word I used, but you're making fun of me for it, but how you were raw. And it really is that though. I did say your freshman year, you just didn't talk to me, you didn't look at me, you just kind of played, you were good. And then your sophomore year, you had kind of like bad habits that were sort of still there, and you were like kind of in transition. Last year, I think it was your kind of your breakout year where you started, playing much more consistently and starting to lead. And that's been my emphasis with Ellie this whole time, is that she needs to be the player that leads with her experience, because she has the most club experience, the most volleyball experience on the team. And this year, when it came around, and I was, kind of talking with you about college stuff beforehand and how you felt about the season, I wasn't really sure how you were going to fit. Reason being because she's amongst 6 other seniors, and it's sometimes kind of difficult. You guys want to delegate all the time who does what and be fair. Not perfectly. And you've completely exceeded my expectations this year. I didn't know you could play this well. Like, I really didn't think. I never envisioned, when I saw you as a freshman and sophomore, and I knew you were going to be good, I never thought that you would be this good. And I can take some credit for it, but like on the spectrum of like this taking credit, I can take like this much credit, because it's been all you. It's been like you putting in the work in the summertime, pushing yourself in the off season, pushing yourself in season. It's difficult when you're at a high level here, and then you have to play your high school season, which isn't necessarily a lower level, but it's you're playing with a whole range of experiences and ages, and that's it's really tough to do, especially for seniors. And I've seen a lot of seniors, myself kind of included, who's really mature in high school. Not really give a crap about the younger girls on the team, and just be like, I'm gonna pad my stats and whatever. And it hasn't been like that at all. You've been a phenomenal leader, and you really developed the culture of this program that we're trying to build, hopefully long after you graduate. And I'm so excited that you're going to play in college, because it's just the best experience ever. Okay. Thank you, Alec. Zanny. Zeno is going to the table. So Zanny, one of the things I didn't want to say also during senior night is just, I wanted to just kind of mention how funny you were. I know that sounds kind of strange, because it's like we're always talking about hard work and playing well, how you play and this and that. And, you're really funny. Like your humor is so, I can't even. I come to practice and I look forward to talking to you, because I know that I'm going to laugh, and it's going to be over something stupid. But it's just always, that's so, and I love it, because you just you set the mood right off the bat, and it's kind of like this dry, sarcastic humor, and you can kind of go back and forth. And I really, really like it. And that is important, because all the other times that you show up to tournaments with your hair down and your knee pads not on, and I can't tell you how many times the referee, because I think I've been scarred, because Zanny's first year on the team, every time the referee would be like, okay, does everybody not have jewelry? I would look at Zanny, and she'd be like, earrings or heads. So you can ask the Gatlins, every time they ask me, I'm always just scanning for Zanny. Earrings on me. But it's just more funny than it makes me upset. So. The other, my kid's asleep. And the other end of that on the volleyball side, which I obviously should address as well, is that I meant every word about you being one of the more consistent players we made that, you know, that slight blocking adjustment in the end, and I mean, I think 21 hit the next 2 balls out of bounds because she was trying to go around, which was silly. Or she could have just gone through. I don't know what she was so I mean, you're just an invaluable member of this team, and I hope you realize that. Just, you know, even if you're not getting like that starting position every single time, and I'm throwing you in when I can, it's just you're totally invaluable to this team. And I hope you realize that. So thank you very much. Sam. Gosh, Sam, I think you might go down as one of the more memorable people I've ever coached. Sam, I mean, I'm sure if you guys know Sam, she just like, you're just like 110%, you put your heart in everything you do, and it's, Sam! It's so important to have somebody like that on this team, particularly at Castilleja, where you guys are really stoic for some reason. Like you're just like, you'd be great poker players. Like I'm always like telling you guys to yell, like talk and get, you know, fine. And not that you're competitive, it's just like you just, you know, and then there's Sam. You know, it's like all I hear in practice is Sam, and she's probably saved your guys' butts so many times when I'm like, talk it up, be more intense, because Sam's out there like 110% of that. And I guess I don't think you guys realize this as a coach. You kind of see the things that don't happen when you're on the court. Like every time you guys have a water break, she's running after balls to shag them. Every time we run lines, like, and I go like, hey, just up and back twice because this side lost, which is nothing. She's all out sprint, you know. And I mean, there aren't many people I can say that about. She just puts in the effort without me having to tell her to, every single day. And that's so hard to do. I mean, I know I can't do that. That's such a cool thing, Sam. And that kind of habit and I don't know what personality trait that you kind of just adopted and you just have naturally, that's going to take you so far too, because and today was just like the epitome of that, you know, the culmination of all your hard work where you hammered. I've never seen you hit a ball. Sorry, good. This was like your ESPN highlight reel. I was telling Maddie, I'm like, set Sam, set Sam. And I was like, I got it. Yeah, Sam. So I'm really proud of you and I'm so happy that you played volleyball instead of cross country. And so happy. And I don't really know like if there'll ever be a player like you at Castilleja in the near future. Maybe Kayla's close, but she's just one. I'm totally. Thank you very much. Maddie. So the running joke / point of relief that I reached with Maddie this year, it took me a while, was finally understanding that this means happy. And this means not happy. It took me forever, but I got it, so. And when we talked, we've talked a few years now about the performance curve and being aware of emotions, and Maddie's like the poster girl of like who professional volleyball players are on the court, because they always kind of look the same, you know. And it's so steady and so consistent that you don't have to really worry whether she's going to perform or not. And the only thing I've ever gotten on Maddie about was her overthinking, you know, because she's so technical and she wants to be so precise. And her position on the court, you know, commands that you need to be precise more than anything else. And she can be very hard on herself. Looks like this. I'm totally gonna keep track. Now's the time. But I have really liked watching you evolve as a setter on this team, because you take in like the 6 million points of feedback that we give you a day, and you're able to not kind of let it inundate what's going on in your head. And your execution in the last, I think, 3 or 4 games, for me it started in that right now in the last tournament, where you were starting to make really, really smart choices and distributing the ball so that you're getting your hitters more one-on-ones. That's a really, really big part of our success. You know, like our hitters can be good, but if they don't have the ball, like if their setter can't get them the ball in the right situation, then they're kind of being mediocre. So I think you're probably one of the most underrated members of this team. You know, when you look at the stats, really it's like, oh, digs, steals, and all this stuff, but you don't realize that it all, our offense runs through this one every single day at practice. You know, getting those reps in the games, it's so crucial to have you on this team, and have you as well be the court captain that you are, which is very steady, very consistent, and very positive. So thank you very much for being here. Ashley, I have found out more about you this year than I have, like, ever. And the more I learned about you, the more interesting of a person you are. Interesting, you know? Ashley comes into the gym, she just works, she does her job, she works hard in practice, you know, if something hurts, hey, Jack, something hurts. She tells me, she doesn't pretend. She's just very blunt and very straightforward, and it's really refreshing. It's great to have somebody on the team that knows, you know, their limits and takes care of business day in and day out. Originally, when we voted for captains, I don't know if everybody knows this story. I didn't know whether I wanted 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. I just kind of went with 15, 17. Captains for me has always been kind of not that big of a deal, as I expect everybody to sort of step up in their own leadership way. But you know, this year when I was counting the votes, I just picked like the top 3 right off my head right away, right off the voting count right away. And Ashley was actually 1 vote kind of under making that top 3, and then the next person down was like 9 or 10 votes away. And I remember when I announced the captains, I didn't think much of it because I was just kind of going straight into practice. And then when I came back and thought about it later, I was like, that's, you know, I probably should have given Ashley a chance, because she was right up there with all the votes in the top 4, and she more than deserves it. She comes in, she's got a great attitude. Whenever I'm talking about how to compete on the court, she's one of the players that I have in mind, because like I said during the season speech over there, you don't dwell on things. You're so in the present in terms of attacking and passing. It's very reliable and consistent. So I told Ashley this earlier that I thought she should have been captain from the very beginning, because she just absolutely deserves it. And as you guys could see this year, she's been one of our consistent leaders, one of our go-to players. I've never seen you hit or pass this well. It's kind of, last year was a little bit more up and down. This year you've been, one of the better players in the league. I can't think of anybody, that would break you out of the top 5 players in this league. So, two, I think I kind of put together after this year, and this is gonna be my prediction for you in the future, Ash. Because you've been missing like occasionally a practice here and there for like these like medical conferences, and I'm always just like, it's like robotics. I'm just like whatever, and the more I think about it, the more when I think of what I see you guys doing in the future, for me, Ashley, without a doubt, obviously, I'm in college and in life, but for me, you'd be a phenomenal doctor with your like even keel bluntness and personality and like. There you go. There you go. Yeah, for like no good reason. I don't even know why I'm bringing this up. Other than I think that there's certain things that point you in the direction of that. I should know, I guess now. All right. Thank you so much. I just want to mention one more thing. Robin's not here, but Bobby is, so I'm gonna make it through Bobby here. The staff I have at Castilleja, I'm really lucky to have Robin and Bobby by my side. They are both coaches that could take a varsity team at any other school, and the day that they do, I'm going to be very upset. But just because they do so much for me on the bench, from statting to scouting to reminding me if I have timeouts, to listening to me, being that buffer between the girls, and talking to the girls if I can't do it. So I really appreciate your help, especially he has his JV practice and then he always stays for the varsity, and varsity tournaments he's there too, which is so many hours that you don't have to. I don't know many coaches that would like choose to come to another tournament, so I really appreciate it. Thanks. Season, and hopefully I'll see everybody on Wednesday.